Hey, gang. Friday. Who saw the moon last night? I actually, and my parents. We all got up out of bed 2:30 or so in the morning yesterday, last night, this morning, actually today. I got pictures. Um, I'll have to try to send them to myself so I can show all of you. It was actually pretty cool. I'm glad I did it, and not just for the to finish my shot of vodka that I was sipping on before bed. It is. Oh, I just spilled on my keyboard. Not good. Coffee. Coffee abuse. It is 2:04 a.m. Saturday in Sydney and Melbourne, 11:04 p.m. Perth, 16:04 in Berlin, 3:04 p.m. in London, 11:04 here on the east coast of the U.S., 8:04. No, actually now 8:05 out there on the left coast in Las Vegas on 1400 and 107.1 KSHP. Where else supposed to be at? We are probably ending 99.1 WDJY. They are making life difficult, as I'm going to say for right now, and I'm going to give them the opportunity to fix that. I still don't know if we're on America One. I don't know what it is with some of these people. America One Radio, we haven't been on for about 2 weeks, and I have no reply email. I heard back from Derek and Romaine. I got to send them the URL. Probably got to send it again, but I don't care. And now today, the UG is not working in the UK. So I'm curious to see what's going on there. But we're on, since it's just me today. I think it's just me. Yeah. I invited Philip from Translating Trump because not only Blake is out today, but so is Matt. They're both on a vacation, a much needed vacation away from me. And I invited Phil before I knew Matt was going to be out too. And, it's always an open invitation. But nothing. So that's cool. We got plenty to talk about. A shutdown averted, an eclipse that happened. Apparently, there are still, I don't know. I thought the GOP banned them amongst their members, but apparently there are still town halls happening where these dumbass congressmen and senators, or maybe it's just congressmen, I don't know. I don't recognize any faces, and I probably recognize at least some of the senators. They're still having these town halls, and they're still getting their ass chewed, and they're still trying to say that what T-Rump is doing is a good idea. Like, dude, seriously? Stop listening to your college-age staff members and start listening to somebody that knows what they're talking about. Like, I don't know, me. Sorry if that sounds a little cocky, but I've actually got a list of things that I said would happen that I wrote down before they happen. And what I need to do is actually do the date, start doing the date so I can go back and playing it for you. So that when I give you these, you can actually, oh yeah, he actually did say that. But what I find fascinating is that T-Rump, I certainly don't call him the president. I don't even call him Trump anymore. It's T-Rump. When you got a fat ass like that, it needs to be given attention to by somebody other than Melania. I'm in much better focus today. Oh, no, I'm not. Okay. I still got to go through when I switched cameras about a month or so ago. Yes, camera is working. I just didn't take the overlay off yet. And good morning to you too, and everybody. Stop abusing coffee. Yeah, good luck with that. Stop abusing coffee, Ken says. What are you, new here? Come on, dude. As what's her name? Kimberly Tello, former fellow Secret Service agent, tried to tell me the other day, and a classmate of mine, Angela Mest, do better. No, I'm already doing the best. I don't need to do better. You do better. But Ken's doing great. We appreciate him every day, reminding people to like, subscribe, share, help us to continue to grow this community. I'm really happy with the numbers that Scott Browning from Radio X gave us, that we grew there because we're on live there right now too. Yeah, he's the orange menace, the orange one in chief. What does Florida grow? Oranges. We're live in Australia also. There's no delay, or there's no syndicated replay or anything. So as such, we are there overnight, guys. Right around 11 p.m. we come on the west side, Perth and everything on the west. And in the middle of the night, up to and like Sportcat, who's still dealing with some family issues. I'm going to cover part of it and then probably replay it today. We're actually growing the Radio X audience overnight by 25%. Those of you know that anything about time, when I say timeshare, I mean, the portion of the audience that radio stations share in every market, that we're growing the numbers at Radio X by 25% is unheard of. That is some serious growth for any station, regardless of the size. I mean, they can be at 10 people or let's say 12 people and we got 3 more. That's still 25%. That's still that many fewer people engaging in the like, subscribe, share, and tell a friend. But he gave some numbers. Scott gave some numbers, and I was really happy to be helping out there because they're helping us. The billionaire guy, we might actually just search that today. Let me see if I can go back to my emails from Scott. And I'll see if I can find that, and we'll take a look at that today. A little less formal, a little bit more. What do you guys want? What do you guys want to talk about? Tell me, for God's sake. But I know for those of you in government, like I used to be, the shutdown was averted. I mean, don't these people have a calendar? I got to turn the light on here. Excuse me a second. Don't these people have a calendar? They always wait till the last minute. I mean, come on. So here's our chain from Radio X. I'm just trying to find where he gave us some of the numbers. Oh, this is the one. Ugly scenes as Palmer launches new party. Billionaire Clive Palmer. Aussie friends. All the way down under. You know this guy? Clashed with journalists over claims his plan to spend millions to get his Trump-inspired candidate elected prime minister is potty. Quote, potty. P-O-T-T-Y. What is that? Let me know what that is. So we'll take a look at that because Scott sent me the link from news.com.au. And then I'll see if I can find where he gave us some. Maybe it was in the daylight savings one. Yeah, here we go. Okay. So from midnight, this was before daylight savings kicked in here, from midnight to 3, which is what Sportcat and I were doing collectively. And that's Australia West Coast time. There were 250 listeners in that time slot. We have since added 121 new listeners overnight on an internet station. Rock on, guys. Welcome. 76% of the listeners are in Australia. The rest come from the USA and UK with 9% each. The rest are other category at 6%. So that's 76 and 18. That's 94 and 600. 52% of the Australian listeners tune in on a mobile device via radiox.com.au. That's how we get it when we test the feed and make sure everything's going. 32% of Australian listeners tune in via apps, and 3% have click on Facebook link to live, which takes them to radiox.com.au. One of the things I'm not using anymore is the live video feed as one of the destinations. It's from a company that was the only thing that we were using after we got rid of some of the terrestrial affiliates that just weren't working. Here's another step. Look at this. This is key. 3 listeners listening for only 11 minutes and dropped off. The rest listened for the 3 full hours. That is awesome. Thanks to everybody supporting us down under, Australia, New Zealand, and even those from that same station here in the US and wherever else, UK, wherever those others are. I think until I find another one, I'm just going to use this address. I'm going to be your pen pal because I know a lot of you are checking in from a country that you might not really be allowed to listen to us from. So I'm going to give you an address. My hotel brand. It's not a hotel yet, but it will be. I own a property in Belize. It's just a plot of land. And I'm going to call this Pen Pal. Go to, write me at Yergs at shayergs.com. If you go to that website, there's an amazing hotel on that website. It's just a prototype of what we might do. But what I want you to do is let me know from where you would like to vacation from. Say Ukraine or Russia or Gaza Strip, somewhere like that. Let me know, and I know this ain't going to happen by Monday. But when you tell a friend, give them this address too, in the event that they can't say that they're listening. Maybe they're planning on a vacation, or maybe they want to, it doesn't matter. You write me about anything you want to write about. Just tell me where you're at so I know to include you in things like news stories, shout out, even if it needs to be a quiet shout out. I'll just say the country or the situation, like the war crimes of Israel, for example. And I still stand with Israel. I just don't stand with Netanyahu. You can have your Kate and Edith too. I'll tell you that joke sometime. So that's what's happening at Radio X. And I didn't open that up, did I? No, I want to. Damn it, where is that now? Is it this one? I want to find that guy. God damn it. Where was that? I want to find the thing I just had with the douchebag from the oh, for God's sake, where is it now? I just had it. I want to find the guy that's the Australian guy. There we go. There we are. Copy. And let's open it over here. Because I want to start looking into this guy and helping you understand. Yeah, I mean, he's equally as ugly as Trump is. And he does this broken thumbs up thing. It doesn't give it like a really good thumbs up. He's like a really weak. I don't know what even how to explain it. Ugly scenes as Palmer launches new party. This is from February, but I mean, still, this is going to be relevant to you for a long time. We've had a guy here that just launched a political party too, and it's like anti-MAGA, it's anti-left, and it's for middle of the road. I'll tell you about all that. Let me do a commercial break. I'm going to try to reconnect with the UG again and see what I can do. But let's get rid of that. And yeah, you're listening or watching Up the Middle on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back right after this. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness. Sorry, I had a level down for a little bit. Yeah, we're not on in the UG. I don't know what's going on there. It's not letting us. It's not letting us connect. Bad connection. We were unable to connect today. Why can I not? Oh, what the hell's going on? Nothing works. And I can't type either. So, yeah, there were tense scenes at a press conference by Clive Palmer as he launched a new party called Trump-et of Patriot. Oh, my God. Like, you can't be more pathetic. Listen to me, Australia. This guy is a failure. I don't know Clive Palmer, but I can tell you he's a failure too. I'm talking about T-Rump. Everything here is a mess. We've got supposedly smart people supporting this asshat, and they can't tell you why. They don't know what his platform is. Oh, he wants to fix immigration. You really? How? What's he going to do? He's going to close the border. The borders were never open. They were never. And don't tell me it's not a racial issue either. Hey, Greg Walker and Denmark Hunter, welcome on Instagram. Thanks for checking in. Don't tell me that it's not a racial issue either, because if it isn't, okay, I'll hear you out. But before you continue and make an ass out of yourself, I want you to provide me one example of someone coming over our northern border and being arrested on suspicion of being Canadian. Yeah, I don't hear anything, do I? Phone's not ringing. I see nothing else in the chat. None of our folks on Instagram writing back, and I give them no reason to do that because they know nobody's being arrested because they're a Canadian coming over the border. Because right now, Canada's a better place to be. Or Trump wouldn't be wanting to make it the 51st state. And calling and doing disgraceful things like calling then Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau Governor Trudeau. Not there's anything wrong with being a governor, but you need to know the hierarchy of government. Oh, I keep burping up coffee. Sorry. Federal, state, and local, with federal being the top of that pyramid. And T-Rump knows it. He's doing this thing that his base, which is shrinking, to be clear and blatantly honest. I'm going to fix my camera for a second. To be clear and blatantly honest, his base is shrinking. And I don't think he knows it. Because if he did, he wouldn't be doing dumbass things like selling Teslas on the White House lawn. Yes, I know Joe Biden did it too. Doesn't make it right. Joe Biden screwed up every day. You know what he did after he did it? He admitted it. And he moved on. He didn't try to play victim. He didn't try to blame it on somebody else. He didn't fire some weak loser who 20 minutes ago was the best and brightest. And I'm telling you, that's what this Clive Palmer is going to do. I don't know the guy. I don't need to know the guy. He's going to tell you, and let's remember this, March 14th, U.S. time, early March 15th on Aussie time. He's going to tell you that he's doing this for you. He's going to tell you all these bad things that your government is doing that they're not doing. He's going to tell you all these bad things that the people that are your neighbors are doing, like eating cats and dogs. That was debunked. That was bullshit, is what it was. But enough people here in the no longer United States believed it. Why did they believe it? Well, because 54% of American adults have a 6th grade reading level or lower. And the average American has, at their best, a reading level of 7th grade. I gave that stat the other day. And I don't remember if it was David Beckmeyer from Outrage Overload. Check out his podcast and replay it as a radio show on Yerg's Radio throughout the week. Easiest way to find it is go to outrageoverload.net. I don't remember if it was David or perhaps one of my other English teachers from high school, Philip Repko, who I engage with frequently on Facebook about politics. Not a Biden fan, but he's definitely not a Trump fan. Bright guy, really well researched. And that's what we preach here. Do your homework. If you say that you've found actual sources, none of which are Fox News or whatever the equivalent is over there in the UK or EU or Australia, any of those, if you say that you've done your homework from multiple news sources, and again, not a news source that calls himself entertainment, but something that says we give actual political analysis because we have a level of expertise. Putting a microphone in front of your face does not give you expertise. It gives you responsibility. If you've done your homework and you still support this Clive Palmer, okay, that is your right to be stupid. That is your right to support some asshat like Donald Trump and Elon Musk. One of the things that floored me that is the reason some people are critiquing me for naming names on like Facebook and wherever else of the stupidity club, also known as MAGA. If you sit and watch somebody like Elon Musk, who also was not dressed properly to be in the Oval Office, but that's okay. But a guy who's at war pisses you off. You sit and listen to Elon Musk, and he says, because we all know that he's got multiple contracts with not only the Defense Department, but other departments that used to exist in the federal government that he was in charge of getting rid of. Is anybody beginning to see a conflict of interest here? And he says that when there is a conflict of interest, I will identify it and remove myself. If you can't figure out or realize that self-identification when it comes to a conflict of interest is by itself a conflict of interest, please don't vote. Find some job that requires nothing but hard labor, because that is all you're capable of doing. When something that blatant, that shockingly obvious, where you should be saying, I ain't sure about this, and you just say, oh, he'll tell me if it's a bad idea. Yeah, I can't help you. That is when, and I'm going to stand up here so you can see it on the camera. That is when you look at the person and say what's on my t-shirt. My catchphrase. Yeah, no. So if you're listening, send it through Radio X website at radiox.com.au. Send it to us at news, N-E-W-Z, at Yergz, Y-E-R-G-Z. Or if you happen to grab that one, Yergz at shayyergz.com, the one I had up earlier. And I'm reading the chat now. Hold on, we'll get caught up. And I want to hear what you think about this Clive Palmer dude. Um, Ken says if that's the case, I think we're still. Uh, should we be called him? I think should he be called? Maybe I don't know. I think there's some typos there. Madam Secretary Trump. Yeah, because we're definitely thinking that Elon is really the president because not only is Trump Putin's bitch, but now he's Elon's bitch too. Matt Deemer checking in from vacation down in the Keys. Send us some pics, man. Matt says, I miss Matt. I miss Matt too. I miss Matt. I miss Blake. I fight with Blake a little bit more than Matt, but I miss them both. If you guys want to fight with either one of them, you got to go through me, as I will defend both of them to my last radio breath. Ken's liking the fact that Matt misses Matt. All caps. Blue and White House per dress code. I think when you're somebody like Felon Musk, you don't care about dress codes. When you wear T-shirts with writing on it and then you put a sport coat over it, what's the sense of having the writing on your chest if you can't see his flabby man boobs? There used to be a dress code. When Clinton came in, he loosened that up, and he had a lot of his young staffers running around the White House in jeans and whatever else. And for as good of a president as he was, he did take a hit on that. And, with regards to the prestige and the respect that should be paid to the whole executive branch within the White House, not just the Oval Office, he took some criticism for that. When W came in, he required everybody was in a suit or you didn't come in. And he held himself to that standard. On multiple occasions, he was gotten up, risen from bed, woken, whatever the correct word would be, and brought down to either the Situation Room or the Oval Office or some sort of briefing situation. And President W would put a suit on. Middle of the night, he puts a suit on to get a briefing and go around right back to bed. I thought that was pretty solid. Obama's people took things very seriously. I don't know that anybody in the White House ever dressed below business, even if it was business casual. Like there was an event he was going to that was business suit, but open collar. And same thing with the Biden administration. Trump 1.0, he had his kids involved much more than what you see now. That's a clue. And they're always in a suit. Even Ivanka, when she was active, she was the first one to bow out. And clearly, I have not seen Eric or DJ TJ at all recently. Like, at all. And they're always in suits. I mean, when DJ TJ goes hunting, I think even those clothes cost more than the clothes I wear. And that's not saying about his level of class. That just tells you what type of clothes he wears. But clearly, with this Doge Silicon Valley bully attitude, I forget what David Beckmeyer calls them, the tech bullies or something like that. But with this something that Zuckerberg kind of started back when he started Facebook, all the venture capitalists and such, they would always be in business suits. And he started the whole flip flops and sneakers and hoodies and whatever else. And it caught on through the entire tech industry. Steve Jobs did the same thing. He used to do the product releases, the on stage presentation in a suit. I do remember, as per the movie with Michael Fassbender, I do remember him doing one way back in a bow tie, which I think is just ridiculous. Unless you're in a tux, don't wear a bow tie. Even if you're tux, don't wear a bow tie. Unless you're a waiter at like a banquet, at like a really nice banquet hotel type waiter, or funeral, or you're being a penguin. That's it. No more bow ties. And then Steve Jobs did the sneakers, did the trendy, I'm down with the people look. Like me sitting here in a t-shirt. But for God's sake, this is a radio show that just happens to have a camera here. I don't even look at the camera. Jobs did the t-shirt and the black crew neck, turtleneck type, mock turtleneck type thing. And that's when he got the haircut much shorter. But this Clive Palmer, if you really want to do something in government, if you really want to do something for people, Elon Musk, instead of losing what he's lost just in Tesla alone since T-Rump came into office, if he would have spent that money on getting rid of hunger or homelessness, it would be gone. All those things you're bitching about in San Francisco and Chicago and New York, and all those nice hotels that were housing immigrants that actually weren't housing immigrants, would be eliminated. And therein lies the problem, doesn't it? They would have nothing to bitch about if they got rid of the things they're bitching about. See how that works? So now I want you to tell me how the far right, and remember, I distinguish between MAGA and conservative. Two totally different concepts, two different movements, two different parties. Maybe MAGA controls what is currently the Republican Party, but let there be no illusions, people. MAGA is not the Republican Party. They are the rhinos. When somebody comes up with a name like that, or when somebody says, well, to be honest with you, Yergs, it's either projection or a lie, or both. Mitt Romney, Adam Kinzinger, Liz Cheney, actually somebody who might be coming on here, Joe Walsh. Not that Joe Walsh. I know you're all thinking Hotel California and life's been good. Not that Joe Walsh. Congressman Joe Walsh, I think from Indiana or Illinois. I got to look. I talked with his assistant, secretary, agent. I don't know what she is. But she said he's interested. I just got so much to do when I can finish helping with Dad. He's and Mom have been awesome to have here for 2.5 weeks. But from a radio perspective, I'm glad to see them going back to Pennsylvania because I can go back to not stopping radio the minute my show's over. But I got to still do that because I got to be available to help my dad. He's helping me, and same with mom. But I'm going to be going back to the gym. I'm looking forward to that. I don't know why I'm rambling right now. I want to go back to talk about this MAGA dude in a shutdown that was averted. And 19 seconds, and it's time for another commercial. All right, you know what? Let's do that. When we come back, um, we'll see if there's anything pressing in the chat. Oh, I got eyes rolled at me by superfan Ken. When we come back, I will be scolding Ken for disagreeing with His Holiness. It is 11:44 a.m. and p.m. Now 11:45 a.m. on the East Coast, p.m. on the West Coast of Australia, 3:45 in London. You're listening to Up the Middle. We'll be back right after this. Ken's going to be fired. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness. Rumble. I got to turn my music on. I didn't do that for the show today. And I realized that in the last break, I didn't do a live spot either, so I'll get us caught up. And in fact, we'll do two at once because they're both relative to each other. I heard back this morning from DNR Studios. They need our URL, which I'm pretty sure that I sent them, but I'll send it. I don't care. I want to be a part of what they're doing. Derek and Romaine, formerly of SiriusXM, when SiriusXM got rid of the LGBTQ plus whatever they called it channel, Derek and Romaine lost their jobs as well. They said, you know what, we got too many followers to leave hanging. They created their own studio. They created their own network. It's DNR, Derek and Romaine Studios.com. Go to that, check that out, sign up, because while you can get me somewhere else and you don't need to sign up with them to get me, they do have plenty of other programs that you'll probably be interested in. Gay, lesbian, straight, ally, doesn't matter. Sign up, check them out. If you don't like it, cancel and bow out. But yeah, I think you'll like it. Go to dnrstudios.com, sign up today. It's not a pricey cost, so give them a shot. You can listen to me wherever else you listen to me. That's not a big deal. But I'm telling you, there's shows as a contributor to them. I have a membership, and there's shows that I listen to every day. Actually, there's a show on there that my ex-boyfriend was on. And if you go to my Facebook, one of my profile pictures from like 10 years ago is me giving the Howard Stern fist. Let's see if I can fit myself on camera here. Me giving the Howard Stern fist in his black top coat right outside Howard Stern's studio. It was so cool. So check out DNR Studios at dnrstudios.com. Also, we're on Rumble because we're on both sides of the political spectrum, covering everything. Not just YouTube, not just Facebook, not just whatever. But we reach out to conservatives, we reach out to liberals, we reach out to people in between. We try to find every possible destination that will reach people who want to listen, who want to contribute. who maybe think they don't know everything, maybe think they do know everything, but maybe they want to share that, or maybe they realize they don't know everything. Rumble is one of those places, and if you're a content creator of any type, go to rumble.com/register/Yergs Media. That's before we became Mastiff Media. Rumble.com/register/Yergs Media, and sign up and get your creator account. And maybe you're just Bible thumping conservative, and that's all you want. Well, do it through us, not to just show us some love, but also show yourself. You'll get a discount, whatever it is that Rumble offers. I don't know. It's been too long since I signed up. I don't know what it is. And while we're looking at all our affiliates, Chase Bank and Frontier both recently sent me new information. So I don't know if I've got a totally new link now or what. So before you go getting your checking account at Chase Bank, or before you sign up for internet, like my next door neighbor just did, without, maybe if you guys listened to me, I could have saved you some money. No, they got to do stuff on their own. And now they're paying for it, literally. Come to me first about Chase Bank or Frontier, because I've got new information. I haven't had time to really take a look at it yet, but there are new offers for both Chase and Frontier. And I guess lastly, I'll hit one more. Get me on Cameo, cameo.com/Yergs/book. And I think it's like $5. I'll send you a message. If you're not familiar with Cameo, you get these celebrities that are on Cameo. Some of us that are lesser celebrities, we don't charge as much, little common sense. And I'll bitch at you like you're on the phone, some idiot. Or I'll, maybe you say something smart and I'll kiss your ass. Or wish you happy birthday. Good luck on a test. Some certification, or just, chat. You can even ask me a question about the Secret Service. I'll answer it if I may, as in like have permission to answer it. Let me decide if your question is classified or not. Let me decide that. I'm the one that knows, you don't. If you got curiosity, if you got a question, ask it, and maybe your answer will be, I can't answer that. It's classified. Whatever. We'll give you another shot. We'll make it worth your money. All right. So, this was funny. Superfan Ken says, sorry, Radioland. Bow ties are okay. And looks good on some people. Not all people, but some. And he, of course, rolls his eyes at me. I will bitch slap you, and you will see your eyes roll like you've never seen them roll before. Nah, Ken's cool. But I'll still bitch slap him. No bow ties. We're going to meet someday, and that son of a bitch is going to be wearing a bow tie. I promise you. He also remembers to remind you to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Oh, he's added that. Well done. All right, I'm not going to slap you anymore. I don't know. Maybe a little. All right, so what did I say else we were going to do? Ken, help me. What did I say I was going to do before? I think we're done with our ugly Betty Palmer, or what the hell ever his name is. We had the shutdown, the 200%. That's amazing. I think my dad said it, and somebody else I know said it too. Trump is pushing the limits. He's just trying to see how far he can go. And I agree with that, at least on some level. Maybe not balls to the wall on it, but at least on some level, because this is a bad thing to say to our European Union partners and friends, but who cares about liquor from the European Union? Some of the wine here in the United States is literally some of the best wine in the world. Not that French or Italian or Spanish wines aren't. They are, but I don't know any. Champagne, sparkling wine, or champagne, as most of you might know it, is only champagne if it is a sparkling wine that comes from the Champagne region of France. Otherwise, it's actually sparkling wine. There you go. There is my knowledge of European liquor, other than Bavaria and beer and what have you. But aside from that, I got nothing. Oh, Scotch. I mean, hello, Scotch is whiskey that's from Scotland. And it actually has to be made in a certain way and be made in Scotland for it to be called Scotch whiskey. Same thing with Irish whiskey. Same thing with Tennessee whiskey. Same thing with Canadian whiskey and Kentucky bourbon. There are all different processes that they follow to make those whiskeys, and they have to be made there. I can distill whiskey illegally in my garage and siphon it through charcoal, however it is they do that and why ever they do that. I don't quite get it, but that is something that's done in Tennessee whiskey, such as Jack Daniels. I cannot call it, per the ATF, the federal agency that regulates that, the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. I cannot call it Tennessee whiskey if I make it here in Florida. Coffee again. Oh, yes. Ken says, let's finish talking about the town halls. Yeah, this is how stupid the GOP, the mega GOP is right now. Unless you are so much of an introvert that you don't know, that you don't even go on social media or the news or anything to know that these town halls have taken place and have been taking place. And that these GOP representatives from Congress have been getting their asses handed to them. You should know by now that if you are a constituent and you get the opportunity to go to one of these things, you need to go because it sounds like a hoot. Just sit there and listen, like my dad and I did last night. We went to something similar here in our county to listen to county officials talk about the permitting process to rebuild after Helene. And that was, I'm just going to say it on the radio, that was a shit sandwich. I think it could have been better organized by the county officials. And the people, maybe if they stopped drinking enough to come to the event almost sober. I got drunk last night just sitting aside of the one lady that I was sitting aside of, who drinks shit beer, by the way. Maybe if they stopped drinking enough to ask a question instead of slur through it, they would also then be able to pay enough attention to realize it was answered 20 minutes ago. And our 7 o'clock meeting wouldn't have lasted till 9. So if you're a constituent, go to these things because the people watching is phenomenal. But also the points that do get brought up at these congressional level meetings, at these congressional town halls, are educational. And it is indicative of what your other neighbors are thinking. If you're a member of Congress, on the other hand, realize that your party has given you the blessing, the okay, to no longer have these town halls. Stop doing it. You look like an ass. And in a year from now, your opponent, possibly in your own party, is going to be running against you to unseat your ass. Now, I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but at least show your constituents that you almost have a clue and that you're paying attention. We're going to be losing K-Shop in a couple of seconds. Come to Yerg's Radio for the rest of the show and the beginning of Sportcat's Daily Gazette and the replay of today on that one. A replay of me today on his is probably what I'll do, so that we have some current things going out on Sportcats. Sportcat is in Tennessee with his family and dealing with a family emergency. He'll be back. I don't know when he's ready to come back. Next week, I'll be filling in for him a little bit more into his portion. And whenever you sign on to something like this on a social media app, I just saw somebody come and go on Chatter. Listen to it for a little bit. Unless it's one of those things where you hit it by accident, like I did last night on one. Listen to it for a little bit. See what's going on. But yeah, that's a good thing to search. Let's do that. North Carolina was another one. That looks like Walz. Fox News has something going on. Telling about one. Let me share this. Ken wants to know, what beer was it? I don't know, but it was like Miller Lite or Bud Light or something. It was a stench that I recognized from some of the crappier bars I've been to in my day. And the less entertaining moments of that life. Here's the one on ABC. We actually saw this. I saw this with Mom and Dad today on Good Morning America. I'm going to see this story that Fox News is going on. I can no longer show anything on New York Times because I've done it too many times. But yeah, one guy, they're all report the Hill, the Associated Press, ABC. They're reporting on this guy that got yanked out of the town hall because he got a little too into it. Matrix is dreaming. Hi, buddy. Were you dreaming? You're okay. Go back to sleep. They're the best. I got the coolest dogs. Yeah, something that not good stuff. All right, so here it is from ABC. And this is about 3 minutes and 20 seconds, so we'll play this. It's a good part of it. I'm going to trust ABC has this.
To President Trump and Elon.
Yeah, this is Good Morning America today. It's Michael Strahan. And I know that one's okay for radio, so here's ABC.
On Musk's drive to slash the federal workforce, our senior political correspondent Rachel Scott over the cuts. Good morning, Rachel.
Michael, good morning. According to you, and these sweeping cuts by the Trump administration and mass firings, mounting legal pushback in the courts, now confronting their Republican representatives at town halls. Overnight, a heated town hall in Asheville, North Carolina.
I feel like this is not productive with everybody yelling at me. I mean, if you want to hear, yeah.
Republican Congressman Chuck Edwards confronted by constituents about the sweeping cuts across the government by President Trump and Elon Musk.
How do you justify cuts to staff of the VA helping veterans, especially those with long-term care needs?
So first of all, they're
Well, you heard it's there.
Took questions for 90 minutes.
Like him or not, Elon Musk.
He hasn't.
One interaction turning it out. The Trump administration is pushing forward with those cuts. Thousands of workers have already been fired across the workforce. In the middle of tax season, sources say the IRS 18,000 jobs 15th. And the U.S. Postal Service announcing its workforce by 10,000.
Okay, so May 15th. For those of you not tracking that, tax day is April 15th. So very indicative, very, what's the word I'm looking for? Very usual of the federal government to get every last drop of blood from you before you leave. When the week that I retired from the Secret Service, I had a bunch of leave, a bunch of vacation time that I had banked. I took the last 2 months of my career off. My last week, back when I was hired, senior agents, as they retired, would spend that driving around the district saying thank you and goodbye to some of the police counterparts and contacts that they made and exchanging information so they could stay in contact in the next chapter of their life. I spent that week on the duty desk, something that would usually be given, as much as senior agents do it as well, something that would usually be given to rookies so that they get more exposure to the various things that come into the office. And they learn how those things are done, especially during the day when bosses and senior agents are there to help them through things. Experienced agents get the night shift because they can handle things on their own. They know that unless something major happens, they don't need to talk to a boss. They can handle it. They can give whatever advice and so on. I spent the last week of my career on the day shift duty desk. I was already out of my house that I was renting, so I was in a hotel. I was already mostly checked out with issued equipment. My boss was on leave, so I already said goodbye to him 2 months ago. And there we go with me answering the phone, because that's something you want doing, me answering the phone. So yeah, now here with the IRS, tax day is April 14th. That is, it's a month from today. Or actually 15th, sorry. It's a month from tomorrow. That is the last day that we as Americans have to file our annual tax return for the previous calendar year for 2024. Which means the initial processing is going to go apparently till March 15th, when these people are then released. That is not how you terminate a lifelong employee of your agency or business. But when all you think about is a bottom line, like Elon Musk, who has driven Twitter, I don't call it X, X is on bullseyes, and nobody is aiming at Twitter anymore. Twitter is exactly what he has done, is driven it into the ground. Just like he's trying to do throughout the rest of the federal government, weakening us for his ally and his puppet master and Trump's puppet master, Russia and others. So let's finish this.
After striking an agreement with the Department of Government Efficiency, Musk this week splitting with the White House, suggesting entitlement programs like care and Social Security could be next.
The way it's important in entitlement spending, which is most of the federal spending is entitlements.
No, it's not entitlement. It's programs that some people need because they weren't born with a silver spoon, a silver racist spoon. The guy is pro-Afrikaner. The guy is pro-apartheid. He's from South Africa, and he's not black. Figure it out. Now he's telling you he's coming after Social Security and Medicaid. Tell me, we sat across the table from a lady last night, that complained about the fact that she makes $16 an hour. Tell me how she's going to have any major medical service examination, operation, anything done for her at $16 an hour. This is why ignorant people like this need to be first screened and then put into place if they pass that screening.
That's like the big one to eliminate.
Those words leaving some voters concerned.
For Social Security benefits.
Yeah. Good question. I'm not going to vote to of your Social Security. I'm not looking to up Social Security.
Then here's what you do. Disrupt Doge. Get off your fat ass and your comb over. For those of you on radio, this guy has an even worse comb over than Trump does, if that's possible. And while we're at that, there's a comment in the chat from Ken that I want to address because he's absolutely right. And I'll tell you the tells from Trump too. But I'm going to put this up. It's a Capitol switchboard. Call your senators, call your congressman. Tell them, even if you're not old enough to collect, your parents are, your neighbors are, you will be. Social Security needs to be saved. Medicare, Medicaid need to be saved. If anything needs to be cut, it's the self-proclaimed conflict of interest that needs to go, along with his boss.
At all.
And overnight, a federal judge ordering 18 agencies to hire back 20,000 federal workers the administration fired. The judge saying the mass firing didn't follow certain rules or give advance notice, causing the impacted state irreparable harm by having to assist the unemployed workers. When it comes to the administration's argument that federal employees were fired for poor performance, the judge writes, this is true. There were no individualized assessments of employees. So hours earlier, a different federal judge issued a very similar ruling. The White House responding to that, calling it absurd, saying they will be fighting back, George.
Rachel, it looks like no government shutdown.
Yeah, it's always down to wire, George, but it does look like Congress will avert this. Senate.
Yeah, because I guess they don't have a calendar. Hey, Elon, why don't you cut the number of golf tournaments your boss goes to? Or the number of dinners he hosts at Mar-a-Lago that these members of Congress are going to? And I don't know, maybe make government efficient?
Democrats reversing course. They were trying to block a Republican proposal in protest of President Trump, Elon Musk, and those sweeping cuts. But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says he will now vote to keep the government.
Hold on. we got to go back. Look at this. Look at that makeup. Why do you go out in public like that, let alone as the president of the United States? You have single-handedly redefined shameful. I'm actually starting to pity Melania. Not really, but I think you get my point. Oh, that's sad. This link will, of course, be in the show notes. You can, for those of you on radio or some other audio only, please look at this so you see how not to dress.
Now vote to keep the government open, insisting that while these policies are bad, a government shutdown is worse, he says. George.
Okay, Rich.
There it is. ABC telling us.
And it also adds two more alleged
something
victims.
about Diddy.
So the breadth of the agents has expanded, but it still remains
Why
the
is
same
this
type
playing?
of case that Sean Combs allegedly used a criminal enterprise to facilitate these freak ops.
I don't know why the hell that picked up right away. Here we go. Here's another one. Yeah. I'm looking at a bunch of the other links that are on the ABC homepage, and it's stuff we got to divert to because it's stuff that just came out that just proves my point. I want to get to Ken's comment first. Musk stutters when he's lying or doesn't know what he's talking about. Oh, 100%. That's the easy one, which I'm starting to see more of. You think? Yeah, a lot more of. But the other one is T-Rump. When he's about to lie, or he's about to do something, say something that's either not actually backed by citation or actual fact, or about to lie, he'll do this thing with his lower lip, and he'll stretch it out, exposing his lower teeth. You know, for those of you on video, you can see the corners of his mouth go down and out. And it looks like he's almost like doing a frog face, and it stretches out his lower lip and exposes his lower teeth. That's what he does when, and I know that's because I know, having been there, I know firsthand some of the stuff he was saying earlier on while I was still there was bullshit. But the other thing he'll do is he'll say it twice. And Ken Williams is a very dedicated super fan, but let's say he wasn't, and I'm trying to pass off to you as though he is. I'll say something like, Ken Williams, he's a dedicated fan, super fan, dedicated guy. He'll keep repeating it, usually at least 3 times, but definitely at least twice. And that's when you can tell, okay, this is something that at a minimum, I need to fact check because it's a stinker, or could at least very well be. Don't presume it. Don't look at that and say, okay, you're told me he's lying. He's lying. No, do your own homework and go back into earlier episodes of Up the Middle when we were just a podcast and we're on the radio, and I taught you how to fact check. Review those, and I promise you, you will learn something on what you could be using right now. I got to look at these. And we'll get to the other ones too. We got 40 minutes yet. Although I need to take another break. We're back. Second, Trump defends the tariffs, declines comment on Ukraine aid. Probably because he's setting them up to be taken. I don't know. Russia, maybe. Also, yeah, that's Waltz. So I'm looking forward to this. Dem leader swings through the GOP held districts after clown show protests halted town halls. NRCC tells Fox News Digital that Governor Tim Walz won't solve Democrats' massive brand problem. No, he won't solve it alone, but that's something that they do need to seriously work on. You're listening to or watching Up the Middle on the Mastiff Media Network. We'll be back right after this. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness. Sorry, muted there. So Ken's right. Musk stutters. He did that in the Oval Office big time on accuracy of some of the things they've done, as well as the when he said he would back down himself if there was ever a conflict of interest, which, like I told you earlier today, is by itself a conflict of interest. What is next? Where am I at here? Oh, I'm going to do this. There we go. Sea Ranch Civic Association. I was at a meeting last night in their building. It's coming along, getting better. You get an extra $40. Sign up for this if you're in the Nature Coast of Florida or northern part of the Tampa Bay. Go to mysrca.com or call 727-619-4636. Anything from seniors exercise classes every Sunday for a while it was open, while the actual building was open. It's only partially open right now. But every Sunday there was a church that used it. And that was a regular thing with a really good crowd. They're now doing farmers markets. This past Sunday, we had our second farmers market. It's growing, doing much better than the first, which wasn't bad. Sign up today by going to MySRCA, stands for Sea Ranch Civic Association. Go to mysrca.com or call 727-619-4636. 727-619-4636. Yeah, let's do that. Did that. Yeah, I got to see this. This is, again, ABC, just because I'm seeing all these different links after watching the first story. But I got to... Oh, wait a minute. All right. There we go. All right. So this is about his comments about the tariffs. And also, the Ukraine aid. He refuses to comment about Ukraine aid. That's because he's not going to give it. Supposedly, the intel has started back up. A little sketchy. I doubt it, but let's take a listen.
Love him or loathe him. Day 49 of the Trump presidency. And whether you love him or loathe him, no president in modern American history has had a more eventful and consequential first 7 weeks as what we have witnessed here at the start of Donald Trump's second term. Trump has enforced a stunning degree of party loyalty, getting even his most controversial nominees, and he's beginning to remake the executive branch in his image. With an assist from Elon Musk, authorities seem to get taken down a notch this week. On the stage, Trump has upended relations with enemies and allies alike. It's also been 49 days of disarray for Democrats, with the opposition party failing to do much to slow Trump down. That was on full display this week during the president's joint address to Congress. Some Democrats skipped the speech. Some walked out. Others carried small signs of protest. Almost all said 100 minutes of address. After Congressman Al Green of Texas stood up and raised, he was escorted out of the chamber. And Democrats later joining Republicans to censure him. Senator John Fetterman of Pennsylvania took to
I
X
love this one
to call
guy.
his party's behavior.
No, nothing. I'm fat and sloppy, like this little hand gesture that this asset gives. Why am I getting? Justin Trudeau there for a second? I got to show
To
you
make
this.
better for working class Americans. It was whiplash week at the White House. 100 minutes of Trump's address. After Congressman Al Green of Texas stood up and raised his cane to protest, he was escorted out of the House chamber. Democrats later joining Republicans.
Watch this guy in the glasses and the goatee. He does this thing with his right hand that I don't know what the hell that is, but clearly is a Republican.
And voting to censure him. Senator
There
John
we go. Get
Fetterman
him
of
out.
Pennsylvania.
If I would have ever thrown somebody out like that as a baseball player, I would have been booed out of the stadium. That was weak. All right, let's get back to it.
It took to X to call his party's behavior a, quote, sad cavalcade of self-owned, unhinged petulance. It only makes Trump look more presidential.
Says the guy who comes to work in a hoodie. Dude, I was a fan until you did this. Not smart, dude. Come on. Represent my home state better than that. I'm actually going to have to go on and actually reply to that. And you know, I love that he, breaks ties at sometimes with the Democratic Party. I think that needs to happen on both sides. But that's what you want to comment about? When he gives a speech that he does, that's what you want to comment about? Please tell me you said something even more negative about the president's pep rally, about the president's ass-kissing session. Or is that what you're doing?
And restrained. But on the issue that put...
He looked restrained. A guy who just basically begged the crowd to have his ass kissed looked restrained. I think you had another stroke, dude.
Trump in the White House, the economy, Trump's unrestrained and erratic moves on tariffs this week sent the stock market tumbling and triggered anxiety throughout an economy that he has promised to make better for working class Americans. It was whiplash week at the White House as President Trump unleashed his favorite economic weapon.
No room left for Mexico or Canada. No, the tariffs, they're all set. They go into effect tomorrow.
On Monday, the president announced he would move forward with 25% tariffs on all goods from Canada and Mexico. Justin Trudeau, in one of his final acts as Canada's prime minister,
okay, so this is actually from last week.
Trump.
Donald, you're a very smart guy. This is a very dumb thing to do.
President Trump sent the stock market. You can see it.
Which is still.
The president was still speaking.
We are like nobody.
Dude, yeah. You're setting records, and there they are. Microsoft down 1.5%. Netflix down 1.5%. Bitcoin trying to get back up to 100,000 at not even 86,000 per coin. Ethereum down more than $100 at 2,100. Yeah, you're setting records. Well done, dumbass.
Has ever seen before.
The Dow would drop more than 1,300 points in
Yep, there's a record.
2 days, wiping out virtually all the market's gains since Election Day. But on Tuesday session of Congress, the president wasn't yielding.
The tariffs are just about protecting American jobs. They're about protecting the.
Those of you not with a video, I'm going to describe. Behind the president, in his view, is head of the Senate, which constitutionally is the vice president of the United States. It's the only real job he has, besides filling in for the president in the event that something bad happens. And on the right side is the Speaker of the House, who actually does have administrative duties in the House of Representatives. Mike Johnson has the best poker face ever. He gives that, I don't know what to call it, because when he sat behind Biden, that was his incredibly disinterested and in disbelief look that he would give Biden. But I'll continue playing here. He's about to clap with that same look that he's giving Trump. Well done, dude. Now, if you'd actually do your job that well.
Soul of our country.
On Wednesday, the vice president stood firm too, saying there would be few, if any, exceptions.
I think the president's been very clear here that he wants the tariffs.
Okay, now I'm going to show you something else. Puppet number 2 walks out at this, I don't know where this is, some soundstage trying to be a war zone.
The tariffs are not just about protecting American jobs.
I'm replaying
They're about
this.
protecting the soul of our country.
On Wednesday,
so there, the guy in the baseball hat is Hegseth, Secretary of Defense. I think the other guy is the transportation secretary who, like Trump, his only claim to fame is reality television. Yeah. And that, the lady trying to look sexy with the big hips is Kristi Noem, the Secretary of Homeland Security. And they've got the camo stuff draped over top of a bright red, white, and blue American flag, because that's going to work. This is all for show. Nothing is happening here. But in any other administration, these people would come out with the featured speaker, who in this case is the vice president. Only with this administration do you see this pomp and circumstance. We have to be standing at attention and ready for the boss to come out. These people are nothing but ego that doesn't even know how to do what they're trying to do.
the vice president stood firm too, saying there would be few, if any, exceptions.
Okay, can you, Biden, for being able, not being able to walk like a big boy. Watch this guy waddle out again. Hold on.
On Wednesday, the vice president stood firm too, saying there would be few.
Nothing says that I am not an athlete like J.D. Vance walking 10 feet.
If any, exceptions.
I think the president's been very clear here that he wants the tariffs to apply broadly. He doesn't want to have 500 different industries getting 500 different carve-outs.
But on that same day, the White House announced a big carve-out.
As only this administration can do. Well, I'm going to put 25% on Canada and 25% on Mexico until I don't. And we're going to put it back on until I don't. Oh.
Giving the big three automakers a break from tariffs on auto parts made in Canada and Mexico.
We are going to give a 1-month exemption on any autos coming through U.S.
Speaking of children, Caroline Levitt, I guess, do we call her Sister Caroline with that big cross that she wears every day? That would be great if she was actually a Christian, but I don't know. Some of the things she says doesn't sound very Christian-like.
SMCA.
Thursday, Trump's Commerce Secretary suggested more carve-outs to come.
It's not likely to be just the automakers. I mean, the president is going to decide this today.
Later in the day, the president declared a temporary pause on a wide range of tariffs on goods from Canada and Mexico. He insisted it had nothing to do with the market.
Okay, here's a problem. Do you hear what he just said? No, nothing to do with the market. Okay, we know that's a lie. Great. Nicely done, Donald. But I got to fix something here. Nothing to do with the market. But then he went on to say, a second after that, I'm not even looking at the market. How can you call yourself the president of the United States and be responsible for the biggest failure of an economy and not be looking at the market? Oh, this is painful.
The back and forth, the president has offered different reasons for the tariffs: raising revenue, protecting jobs, or, as chief economic advisor put it, forcing Mexico and Canada to crack down on fentanyl smuggling.
Then you send law enforcement. You help them out. It's called developing a relationship instead of doing whatever it is you do.
This is a drug war, not a trade war.
Okay, you should sit down. You should just sit down, go get your teeth fixed, get a better set of glasses, and come back when you're ready to, and put collar stays in your shirt, because that little curl you got going right above the microphone, we can't have that either. Learn how to dress. Learn the difference between anything in a trade war that's been going on since this asshat even spoke, let alone took office. This is not a trade war. Oh my God. This guy actually said that. I got to keep this clip somehow because I know they're going to try to get rid of it someday.
It's not the first time the president has used tariffs to try to get what he wants. Less than a week after his inauguration, it's 25% tariffs Colombia, but backed down hours later when the country agreed to carry out military flights with returning April last.
There'll always be.
So here's what I don't get. He said tariffs are his favorite word. Remember when he said, oh, no, why did that stop? Oh, no, it didn't. Okay. Sorry. I'm looking at my timers to make sure I stay better on time today, which I think I'm doing. I'm pretty close. Remember when he said tariffs are his favorite word and we're going to become so rich, we're not going to know where to spend the money? Well, we're not going to have any place for the government to spend the money because you're getting rid of everything. That's the only reason why we're going to not know where to spend the money. It's not going to be there. Oh, I need a Big Mac.
Some modifications. I mean, if you have a wall in front of you, sometimes you have to go around the wall instead of through it.
Yeah, if only you knew how to build a wall, you'd be dangerous. And not walls that fall down.
All right, let's bring in our chief business.
Oh, all right, let's go over to Fox. Let's see what they have to say. And Coach Waltz blames himself and Harris for America's mess under Trump. No, we'll blame Trump. Thanks for that, but no. I mean, you could have run a better campaign, and I guess that might be where you're going with that. But so this is on Fox, but I see MSNBC on the lower third. So this should be interesting.
Mr. President, it's the worst executive that I have ever witnessed. And I hope, this is what we need.
That he's on with, I don't remember what his name is, but he is from NBC. So Fox is clearly poaching some footage here, which is, I'm doing the same thing. So I'm not worried about that. But I'm anxious to see what commentary Fox comes back with.
Business
after
community
this
speak
clip.
up. The Wall Street Journal, thank you. Thank you for saying this is the stupidest trade war, because I've been saying it. And so now I can go back to my constituents, Republican constituents, and say, this is the reality of what you're facing. So again, there is going to be pain. The richness of a sitting senator like Tommy or Elon Musk telling us we're going to have to endure pain. Are you kidding me?
Needs to go back to coaching football. That would be cool, wouldn't it? To see Tuberville against Waltz on the sidelines.
I hope you noticed that I did not make that same pledge.
Let me see if I can bring that back here.
Mr. President, he is the Elon Musk going to have to endure pain. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Again, I think Americans have had it. I hope they've had it. And now we just need to do what we can do to make the case. And I own this. We wouldn't be in this mess if we'd have won the election. And we didn't. We have to make sure that Americans know it's not just that Donald Trump is bad, but we're offering them something better. And I think that's what we need to work on.
Has been critical of the Harris presidential campaign since losing. Yeah, he has been. There are a lot of things that I think done differently, done way better. He had better ratings, for lack of better terms. Why am I not be able to get? There we go. He's had better ratings, for lack of better terms, when he was more himself, when he was more Coach Waltz, than when he was vice presidential candidate Waltz. And that is the result of the consultants that the campaigns hire. Matt told us that last week, and I agree. That's you'd think that they'd have some experience by now, which obviously Kamala Harris didn't. But yeah, I mean, you got to go with what works, and they didn't do that. I'm going to go ahead and cut this out and do one more break and get it over with, and then we'll have longer time to wrap up this hour. You're listening or watching Up the Middle. Friday Fights is just me. Thanks for joining. Matt will be back next week, and we'll try to get somebody in, maybe Philip or somebody for the right side. Or maybe Matt will be the right side, and I'll be the left, as he likes to say. Matt will be back next week. Blake is on a vacation with the family. Today they started trekking across the country in like a camper thing, I think he said. So I guess they're starting today, being out all next week, and wrapping up next weekend. So he's going to be missing 2 weeks with us. And hopefully he checks in. That would be cool. But I got to take one more break, and then we're going to wrap up today. Stay tuned for after us for Sportcats Daily Gazette. It's going to be a replay of today's Up the Middle for that 2-hour segment. All right. You're listening to the Mastiff Media Network. What are you doing later? I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to the gym, but not just any gym. Momentum Fitness and Wellness. Walk right up to the door. There's a QR code on the door. You can sign up right there. You've got no excuse. But not only that, their equipment is amazing. It's kept up well. It's expanded. There's stretching area. There's CrossFit. There's hardcore training. A dedicated area for stretching, dunk tanks, sauna, everything you need to get that Hernando beach body or keep your Clearwater beach body. You can train with your shirt off, you can scream, you can yell, and you won't be intimidated either. Go to Momentum Fitness and Wellness on US 19 in Bayonet Point, Jasmine Estates. Build the momentum at Momentum Fitness. Get some music here. In our studios and Rumble. I'm on both of them, or I will be on both of them. I'm on one. I'm on Rumble right now. DNR Studios will follow. I heard from Romaine earlier this morning, right before I went live. Didn't have a chance to reply to her yet, but they need the URL so they can take the show, put it on. And yeah, we'll be figuring out exactly what we need to do to also get their app. You can come back and listen to shows later. So we'll sit down with them again, get that sorted out, get that ready, and check them out. Derek and Romaine. They are every day during the week from 5 to 7 Eastern PM, 1700 to 1900, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. Eastern on their own app. Go to dnrstudios.com. Check that out. Sign up today. I don't know that I have like any affiliate link with them. So if you want, I'll see if I can get you some discount. If you sign up for a year, you'll like it. Even if you're not even gay, you'll like it. Also, Rumble. If you're a content creator, use our link, rumble.com/register/Yergz Media, YERGZ Media. Rumble.com/register/Yergz Media. Be balanced, be fair. Not like some networks. Reach out to everybody. Be inclusive. And by doing that, also, you're going to learn from both sides. I watch shows that are on Rumble. I laugh at them more than YouTube. But anyway, we love them anyway. Rumble.com/register/Yergz Media. All right, what do we got left? One more reminder from Ken checking in. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend. Start your weekend with a smiley face like Ken is. I like bringing stuff in from the Associated Press. We can just go to their site and go up there. It ain't AP.com, is it? AP News. Legal. More than 50 universities face federal investigations as part of Trump's anti-DEI campaign. I don't know who said it. I really wish I knew who said it. Somebody from the progressive side, from the left, said that if you're going to be against DEI programs, you should have to say it. But not only that, you should have to say diversity, equity, and inclusion. I think what's happening is so many of these people, let me bring the screen back. So many of these Bible thumping right side, and I say Bible thumping in jest, not to actual Christians, but to the hypocrites that are these people. You're against diversity, equity, and inclusion. And I love when I see women like Marjorie Taylor Greene be anti-DEI, because guess what? It was DEI programs that, one, got women to vote in the first place, got people like you, Marjorie Taylor Greene, to Congress, and other jobs. I got into a Facebook fight the other day. I told you about it. A friend of mine from high school I haven't checked today, but I didn't hear anything back after I slammed her. She was anti-DEI and anti-boys and girls bathrooms and whatever, which of course I'm against. But she's also still believing that school districts are putting kitty litter boxes in the hallways for students who dress like animals to go to the bathroom in. She actually believes that. Until I put a link up saying that it was debunked. It was a lie. It was something done by the far right, where she is. And I reminded her, growing up as a kid, we knew her mom because she was one of our school bus drivers. And I'm not talking about like short bus, van, something that maybe these stereotypical men jobs would only allow a woman to do. This lady drove a bus. And I reminded her that her mom was able to drive a bus because of DEI programs. And I haven't heard back. So now more than 50 universities are facing federal investigations. What's going to happen is they're going to lose their funding. That's what they're looking into. More than 50 universities are being investigated for alleged racial discrimination as part of President Donald Trump's campaign to end diversity, equity, and inclusion programs. That is, officials say exclude white and Asian American students. The Education Department announced the new investigations after issuing a memo warning America's schools and colleges that they could lose federal money over race-based preferences and admissions or any aspect of student life. Students must be assessed according to merit and accomplishment. I can't read that. I can't read that statement without laughing. Why? Look at your cabinet, idiot. Look at your cabinet. You've got how many Fox News people? Oh, the phones are ringing. It's not ours, it's mom and dad. You've got how many people from Fox News who are now running the largest military in history with no credibility, no prior experience of anything close to that big. What little experience the guy does have, he ran into the ground. The only thing Linda McMahon knows about education is teaching other professional wrestlers. Yes, it's that McMahon. Her husband was the one that was forced out of the WWE as a majority owner because of sex scandals. And now they're sold to like some Middle Eastern company, I think, is the real owner of the WWE now. She is the one in charge of teaching our kids on a national level, which, by the way, the Department of Education doesn't do. I mean, if it did, the average American adult would have a higher than 7th grade reading level. And a lower number than the current 54% would be at 6th grade or lower. But let's get rid of the Department of Education. Students must be assessed according to merit and accomplishment, not prejudged by the color of their skin. Okay, that's great. That's fine. But maybe if we weren't judging by the color of their skin in the first place, we wouldn't need DEI programs. Just a thought. We will not yield on this commitment. Yes, you will. In 2 years from now, you're going to hard. It's called a midterm. Or what you and the WWE call a commercial break. Most of the new inquiries are focused on colleges' partnerships with PhD Project, a nonprofit that helps students from underrepresented groups get degrees in business with the goal of diversifying the business world. Why is that bad? They're just helping people that don't have the advantage that I did as a white dude to still get an education. Department officials said that the group eligibility based on race and that colleges that partner with it are engaging in race exclusionary practices in their graduate programs. Oh. Yeah, and this story related is, I mean, this guy's got to go. Everything. The group of 45 colleges facing scrutiny over ties to the PhD project include major public universities such as Arizona State, Ohio State, and Rutgers, along with prestigious private schools like Yale, Cornell, Duke, and Massachusetts Institute of Technology, also known as MIT. The statement from Ohio State said the university does not discriminate on the basis of race, ethnicity, or any other protected class, and our PhD programs are open to all qualified applicants. A message sent to the PhD project was not immediately returned. 6 other colleges are being investigated for awarding impermissible race-based scholarships, the department said, and another is accused of running a program that segregates students on the basis of race. Okay, so what are they? If you have an actual legitimate gripe, what are they? Put it out now. Let us see this. But they don't, because they don't have it. The education department said those schools are Grand Valley State University, Ithaca College, New England College of Optometry, the University of Alabama, University of Minnesota, the University of South Florida, and the University of Oklahoma at Tulsa. An initial press release from the education department erroneously identified the University of Tulsa as one of the schools under investigation. So it is or it isn't. Oh, I see what it is. Instead of the University of Oklahoma at Tulsa, it said the University of Tulsa. 2 different schools, totally. I got it. The February 14th memo from Trump's Republican administration was a sweeping expansion of a 2023 Supreme Court decision that barred colleges from using race as a factor in admissions, which, by the way, is a far-right set Supreme Court. The decision focused on admissions policies at Harvard and the University of North Carolina, but the education department said it will interpret the decision to forbid race-based policies in any aspect of education, both in K through 12 schools and higher education. In the memo, Craig Traynor, acting Assistant Secretary for Civil Rights, had said schools and colleges' diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts have been smuggling racial stereotypes and explicit race consciousness into everyday training, programming, and discipline. Ugh. You don't get what that program does. You listen to Ron DeSantis too much. The memo is being challenged in federal lawsuits from the nation's 2 largest teachers' unions. The suits say the memo is too vague and violates the free speech rights of educators. Probably. The Associated Press education coverage receives financial support from multiple private foundations. The AP is solely responsible for all content, as am I now. Find the AP standards for working with philanthropies, a list of supporters, and funded coverage areas at ap.org. This and all the links will be in the show notes. We'll go through that next. We got, I got to go through that right now because I got to download this episode, put it back up so we can get on the next 2 hours for Sport Cat, who's out today. All right, here are, where am I at? There we go. All right, so that pen pal thing we talked about earlier, if you're in, we'll say maybe a war zone or someplace where you might not be allowed to listen to a show like this, write us, Tell us you want a vacation at Shea Yerg's. Tell us you want to do something. Let us know where you want to do that from so we know where you're at and what kind of news and stories we can also focus on. Write me at Yerg's at ShayYergz.com, YERGZ at CHEZYERGZ.com. Also, mysrca.com, Sea Ranch Civic Association. If you're on the Nature Coast or northern part of Tampa Bay, go to mysrca.com. Sign up today. $40 for a year, worth every penny. The Capital Switchboard is 202-224-3121. Call your senators, call your congressman, tell them this Doge got to go. DNR Studios. Sign up for DNR Studios at dnrstudios.com. Derek and Remain, 10 hours a week, just like I will be starting in April. They are 5p Eastern to 7p. That would be like 5a on the west coast of Australia. And let's use our handy dandy world time buddy. See, 5p would be 8 a.m. in Sydney, just like I am on the west coast here. Go to dnrstudios.com. Sign up today. Studio BBB is the art gallery that my Monday colleague Jane Stahl operates and manages. Go to studiobbb.org to find out more or to message Jane. You can also get her as the co-editor of the Boyertown Area Expression. That's our hometown's digital newspaper, boyertownareaexpression.town.news for more information. Philip joins us Wednesdays on Translating Trump. You can find his socials at Philip Blackett, Philip with one L, Blackett with two T's. Matt Deemer will be back next week. He's the host of the Daily Crypto News. You can learn more about that at dailycryptonews.net and write him at matt@dailycryptonews.net or info@deemerforcongress.com. Blake will be back in 2 weeks from now. He's on a, what do you call that in Australia? Walkabout in a camper. He's the host of The Homeless Conservative. You can reach him, Blake, at thehomelessconservative.com. You can get us all news, NEWZ, at Yergz, YERGZ.com. And for more information about all of us, go to yergz.com or mastiff.media. Hang tight next. As soon as I get this loaded and up, you can find it on YouTube. Actually, you won't be able to do that today. Go to yergz.com, or excuse me, Yergz Radio, YERGZ radio.com, or radiox.com.au for Sportcat's Daily Gazette. In today for Sportcat will be me, a replay of today's Up the Middle. And see you later, gang. Have a good weekend. That's Ken checking in, checking out. Don't forget, remember to like, subscribe, share, tell a friend, help us grow so we can help you. That's it. I will see you Monday. Have a great weekend. Stand by for a replay of today's In Lieu of Sportcat. See you soon.